Welcome to the 12.10 Kickoff for Distribution. I'm Larissa Lane. I'm the Product Manager for Distribution. In 12.10, we're going to be focusing on continuing progress on some issues that we've been working on for a few releases now, and also preparing for 13.0, which is our next release after 12.10. In 13.0, we're going to be adding a couple of major new updates that need to be added in a major release. So the first thing that we're going to be working on is defaulting to PostgreSQL 11. We added support for Postgres 11 in 12.8, and in this release, if you've been following along on this epic, you'll know that we were planning to make it the default version of Postgres in 12.10. So just a little bit more work to do there to make that happen. And then the plan continues to be on track to make Postgres 11 a minimum requirement in 13.0 so that we can benefit from some of the new sharding and partitioning optimizations that have been made in that version of Postgres. Next up, we're going to be working on what it's going to take to add support for prefect in the GitLab Helm chart. So the Gitaly team has been working hard on adding high availability for Gitaly, and prefect is one of the components that enables that. So this issue here will be doing the research that we need to do to define exactly what it's going to take to be able to configure prefect through the Helm chart. And then we will be adding Patroni to Omnibus. So for those of you who are using high availability for GitLab, you'll probably be familiar with Rep Manager, which is what we use for replication and failover in self-managed instances of GitLab. So to align with what we use on GitLab.com and also to support our move to PostgreSQL 12, we'll be moving across from Rep Manager to Patroni. So Patroni will become the component that handles replication and failover for PostgreSQL databases. We did a research spike on this in the last issue, and we have if you go to this epic linked to this issue, you'll see the issues that were created as a result of that research spike. There's a large MR that had been in progress for almost a year. We need to make some fairly major changes to that MR. So we're going to be starting a new MR and pulling in any of the code that we can reuse. And then we've been working on this epic to support Helm 3 for a little while. We have almost wrapped it up. There's just one item remaining here, which is this one to update our documentation to include Helm 3 syntax. So we'll be working on that in 12.10. And finally, this one here, preventing upgrades when background migrations are still running. We, in a recent release, added documentation on how to prevent background migrations from running, or how to check if they're still running before you upgrade. This issue we've had to bump out a couple of releases due to some more urgent things that came up, but we have prioritized it again for 12.10 and hoping to be able to get to this in this release. So this will be some guardrails that we put in place to prevent you from upgrading while those background migrations are still running. That's it. They are the major things for this release. We've got a lot of other little things that we're working on that you can access by going to the distribution deliverables board. You can, if you go into the Omnibus GitLab project and filter by the deliverable label, and the 1210 milestone, you'll be able to see all of the other smaller items that we're going to be working on. Thank you very much for joining.